The chaos of Britain's asylum system is either incompetence, corruption, or a plan. No doubt the truth is a mixture of the three. Let me just bring you up to speed on this crazy story, which represents everything that's wrong with this country, and why a failure to properly manage our borders is a national disgrace, a national crisis, and a national emergency. It has come to light that Abdul Azaidi, the man police are still hunting over a suspected chemical attack which injured 12 people, entered the UK illegally in 2016, applied for asylum twice, didn't get it, but was not removed from the country. Why? He then committed sexual assault and indecent exposure, receiving a suspended sentence. Why? Is sexual assault not a bad thing anymore? Amazingly, he was then granted asylum. Why? Why? Well, on that one, we have an answer, because, of course, his claim was that he converted to Christianity, something which is now disputed. The Telegraph report that friends admit Azaidi remained a devout Muslim, telling the shopkeeper at his favourite Middle Eastern food store, where he bought halal meat, a famous Christian staple, that he managed and hoped to return to Afghanistan one day to find a wife. This guy's litany of hellish misdemeanours were all prior to his alleged chemical attack on 2 children, a mother and 9 others on Wednesday. It was a horrific attack. It was deeply chilling. It was violent, and life-changing injuries were involved. We've talked in the past about the mystery of why a sophisticated country like Britain can't police its borders and stop people entering the country illegally. But perhaps more egregious is the fact that when people come here and break the law, they get to stay. Ultimately, blame lies with lawyers who quite literally help people that shouldn't be here to game the system and remain. Some people call them lefty lawyers. I call them misguided, unethical and borderline corrupt lawyers. Numpty priests at the Church of England share the blame as well, facilitating these religious conversions, which in so many cases are done exclusively out of the desire to remain in the country, rather than some kind of Damascene conversion to Jesus Christ. Are the priests that facilitate these phony conversions under the leadership of Archbishop Welby, who's blocking the Rwanda plan, are they just gullible and naive, or are they rigging the system out of some bizarre woke idea of open borders and all are welcome, including lawbreakers? You tell me. I'm disgusted by this story, not just in regard to the individual case and the poor victims, but the fact that it's obviously the tip of the iceberg. If only this was a freak incident. Now, there are some prominent broadcasters and politicians who claim the asylum status of this monster is irrelevant. Well, no, it's not, because if he'd been deported in the first place, he wouldn't have committed those crimes. The problem you've got is that the institutions of this country don't really believe in proper border control and a robust asylum system which is unwelcoming to criminals. The Home Office, the Church of England, parts of the media, scores of politicians, the legal establishment, custodians of misguided and outdated human rights laws, well, this terrible crime is on them. The establishment as a whole are conniving to make our country a more divided and dangerous place to live, with illegal migration in the tens of thousands every year, and we have no idea who these people are and what their background is. And with legal net migration of approaching 700,000 in a year, we're witnessing the torching of Western values and of social cohesion as we speak. It's happening in real time before our very eyes. And for those half asleep, this story should open them. Now, immigration is a huge value to this country, and it always has been. I am the son of Irish immigrant parents myself. But it needs to be legal. It needs to be coherent and robust, and we need a national conversation about the current scale. The last word goes to my former colleague here at GBNews, the brilliant Mercy Muroki, who, writing in The Sun this week, said the idea that you can lump people from all around the world together on a small island and everyone's going to sit around the fire holding hands and singing Kumbaya is mindless nonsense. She goes on, what causes racial tensions is turning a blind eye to people who refuse to integrate into the country. She's so right. And I would controversially suggest that breaking the law is a failure to integrate. If you are refused asylum, you should be removed. Is that controversial? If you enter the country illegally, you should be removed. Is that controversial? If you break the law when you're in this country, you should be removed. Is that controversial? Well, yes, it is controversial, which is why we're in such deep trouble. Britain is turning into an insane asylum.